Hello, this is Danny Raymond, the voice behind Ray's Guide. The IAE is a steady flow of information. Much of it comes from direct announcements from CIG. Others come less directly from Q&As and forum posts. And still others are more subtle and are obtained by deduction and connecting the dots and looking at the details. And that is the kind of thing we'll be talking about in this video. It starts with a mention from CIG that 4 ships will be sold at their current price for the last time in this sale. Those ships are the Hull A, Raft, Hull B, and Railen, all of them cargo ships. Now, for ships already in the game, price increases represent either a reflection of improvements in the ship itself or a feeling that the ship is underpriced compared to other competitors. But for a ship not yet in the game, a price increase usually means that it is now flyable in the game or credibly close to being flyable in the game. This price increase is expected as a reward for early buyers who've had their money tied up waiting. And that will be the case for the Railen and the Hull B, not simply because they're flyable, but also because they have had improvements announced for them. So as a civilian ship, the Hull B would not be expected to be on sale until next year's IAE, but it does mean that they have enough resources and progress on the Hull B, which we already knew they were doing because of roadmap and progress reports, to be ready to commit to it being ready by this time next year. For the Railen, though, the next time we would expect it to be available isn't just next year's IAE, but also next year's Alien Week, which happens a couple weeks after Invictus Launch Week. In other words, mid-year, much sooner. But also buried in the description plaque on the show floor and an update in the ship matrix is that the Railen's cargo capacity is being doubled to 640 SCU, which puts it in Hercules C2 territory. So between the flyable price increase and the capacity increase and the alien tax, I wouldn't be surprised that the current $225 price on the Railen might jump to well over $400. So banking an upgrade to it might be a wise step as part of an eventual chain. I'll get into giving an example of that later. Also worth knowing is a Railen, and only the Railen, was worth being shown in a Holoviewer among the many still in development ships that could have been. So there was clearly something that they wanted to show us and have us see. So what was it? Presumably, this is their latest work in progress on the Railen, and so what does it reveal compared to their prior holodeck view of the ship? The first thing that's obvious is that in the current view, the cluster of triangular cargo pods is gone. Remove those cargo pods, and the volume they're left with is what we see here, so the shape and form are likely still undergoing change when we will see the Railen eventually in the game. We have already had confirmation that the cargo solution was going to be changed, but more than that, we see that what is left is not larger than what it was before. What this means to me is that they are not switching to an internal cargo setup, since this volume is simply not large enough to enclose 640 SCU. So we're likely going to still see some sort of external cargo solution able to accommodate standard cargo boxes up to 20 32 SCU containers, 10 on each side, for the necessary 640 SCU. Another indication that they are keeping an external cargo solution is that the side turrets are still on these stubby extensions from the main body. The purpose of those extensions in the original design was so that the turrets would still have a full field of view after all the external cargo pods were in place. So again, this indicates that there will still be an external cargo on the final Railen design. Now, the second thing that is missing from this new design display at this year's IAE are these 4 thruster pods that are attached to the 4 arms. Now, a couple of possibilities here. The first is that with the increased cargo capacity, there just isn't room for these, and they're replacing them with fixed and rotatable thrusters on the arms themselves. The second possibility is that they're going to keep these pods, but making the rigging and kinematics work, one of the main goals of the gray box phase, is not yet complete enough to the point of having anything that they feel ready to show. After all, putting a fully rotatable pod on a movable arm is one of those things that keeps animators up at night. But if I were making a guess, it would be that the thruster pods are being dropped, since if they were being kept, they could have still exported a version of the model to show them in a fixed position. So if the Railen is expected in the midterm future to have a price and capacity upgrade, how do you take advantage of it? Well, to start with, the current loaner for the Railen is the Hercules C2 Starlifter, a $400 ship. So just buying the $225 Railen to get the Starlifter is a good short-term deal. But let's say your real long-term goal is to buy a ship more expensive than your expected new price of the Railen. Say a Hull C or an ironclad assault or merchantman, whatever. If you like the C2 loaner, then buy the Railen either directly or through an upgrade chain. If not, instead get a ship $5 less than the current Railen price. Say a Terrapin, Defender, or Terrapin Medic, all of which sell for $220. Then buy a $5 upgrade from that ship to the Railen. Then when the Railen comes out with its new price, upgrade and continue building the chain from there. This is because if you buy a ship or upgrade at one price, and when you upgrade it there's a new price, and the price of the further upgrade is based on the current value of the ship, not the price you paid for it. Note that this is a major difference between upgrading a ship and melting it for store credit. Now, the price increase on the Railen is just one of a foursome of future price increases on cargo ships that CIG is saying that will come post-show. Do I have any expectations on those other three as well? I expect the Hull A will see a minor price increase just to make it some difference between it and the Golem Ox, but still less than the C1 Spirit. So I suspect $10 to $15 on the Hull A. The Raft will get a price increase to better reflect its increased capacity and to make it more expensive than the C1 and Zeus. I suspect $50 to $70. And the Hull B, which will be getting both a flyable increase and a general adjustment to cargo ships, will likely see an increase bringing it into the low 200s, which will place it somewhere in the ballpark of the Starlancer Max. Which brings me, of course, to the ship giveaways. In just a few days, I'm going to be giving away a Starlancer Max. This video will be qualifying for both next year's ILW Week giveaway and next year's IAE Week giveaway. I'll be announcing what those ships will be in just a few days once I do my calculus on buying them. Since these giveaways are not provided by CIG, not that I would mind if they did, members, you're entered automatically, so nothing more to do. Everyone else, you can enter by commenting somehow, including the secret word. And the secret word for this video is what you will expect the flyable price of the Railen to increase to. Fly safe, keep it real, and I'll see you in the verse. This is Daniel Raymond with Ray's Guide.